I'm Paul Evans Pedersen Jr. Welcome to another episode of the Jersey Devil Hunter.
Wading river run down through the pines, cutting through Hawkins Bridge, run past Point Divine, red cedar waters caress boating field as she winds her way to the bay. Touch her and feel. She's just like a woman, so fragile yet strong. She might bend a little, but keeps moving on. Sometimes she gives life, sometimes takes it away. She'll laugh as she buries what she killed somewhere in the bay. Keep flowing, my red lady, please don't become damned. Take me on downstream, come take my hand. Watch me on home, girl, make me one with your blood. If I choose to drown, just take me down, make me one with your flood. Cedar Water Blues, Cedar Water Blues, Cedar Water Blues, Cedar Water Blues.
Yeah, buddy, that's the one that started it all right there, Cedar Water Blues. And this is the infamous Menantico Ponds. This is a very, very active area here in South Jersey. We're in Cumberland County, so technically, well, that doesn't mean that it's not the Pine Barrens because it's Cumberland County, but most of Cumberland County is not in the Pine Barrens, and Menantico Ponds is one of those places that's not in the Pine Barrens per se. I mean, it's as wild back here as anywhere else in the Pine Barrens. It's just not designated Pine Barrens. There's more stories that come out of Menantico Ponds than just about anywhere else. There's a very active person back here that swears there's a family of Bigfoot, and there's been all kinds of stuff heard, seen, and even recorded that people don't know what it is. But the last time I came back here, I did one of these episodes, and I had the camera turned the wrong way. It was actually recording myself talking. It was ridiculous, so I erased it. And haven't been back since. This is something new here. No vehicles beyond this point. What they're trying to do around here is mark off a lot of spots where you're not allowed to drive anymore. There's a big thing happening in the Wharton Tract, which is a large area of pine barrens, that they're going to be mapping off against motor vehicle traffic of any kind. Motorcycles, four-wheelers, cars, whatever. And a lot of it's because some of these jackasses come through here and like to spin their wheels and dig holes. And I know that's fun. But when you get clubs coming out of Pennsylvania and Virginia with like 50 vehicles and they're all doing that, you wind up with holes in the road that fill up with puddles and grind people out. And it's just a mess, man, you know. They should leave. They should go play in their own state. You know, you should have to. I think it should be for residents to come through the Pine Barrens. I really do. I think if you're a New Jersey resident, that gives you, you know, it's state property. Here comes somebody, and you should have to live in the state of New Jersey to come back here, and especially if you're tearing stuff up. You shouldn't tear stuff up, but this out-of-state clubs and all this other jazz is for the birds. So that's my little political rant as far as that goes. But this is a very eerie and wild place, Menantico Ponds. You know, you have Menantico Creek that winds its way through a lot of Vineland and Millville. And then years ago, they dug these sand pits back here. You know, they sell the sand to the cement factories in Pennsylvania and Connecticut for asphalt and for glass making. And they come back here and they dig these ponds, and they only get so far down and they fill up because the water table is very high in the Pine Lands area in South Jersey here. And once it fills up, you know, it's done as far as making sand. But there's a series of these ponds that Menantico Creek emptied into, and then all of that empties into the Morris River and makes its way out to the ocean. And it's a pretty interesting area because of the lay of the land here is kind of like there's bluffs and a lot of dunes that were left from the diggings when they dug these ponds out. And there's not many places in South Jersey that look like this. I'll try to poke the camera out the window a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. All right? And guys like to come back here and hunt, of course, but they also come back here with their four-wheelers and go crazy. You know, I mean, you can see how much fun that would be. It's like a little mini obstacle course with some of these. The way they have us, that's pretty far down, pretty deep, and that's what they like. But when they're back here, there's all these reports they're getting now of hearing these screams and hollers and they don't know what. And there's a guy that swears that he knows there's a family of Bigfoot back here or something. Man, last time I was here there was no water here. Right here. There was on the other end. You can see you got that little island and there's water beyond that. That was there, but this water wasn't. So there's some good fishing back here. I've caught pickerel. I'm not looking for fish, I'm looking for adventure. And that's not necessarily cedar water. Some of it may be. I know in the one pond it is. But these fill-ups, these sand pits, are more or less mineral water. You know, this is water right out of the aquifer. They really have put up a lot of stay out of here signs. But it's a very wild area, and I'd love to see something just happen along out of the woods for us. But I've been telling some friends online and on my pages that I want to take them back here. Here comes somebody else coming through here pretty quick. Get out of his way. It might be a state. No, it's not. I've been wanting to bring some people back here to have some fun. And maybe do an overnighter and see what we can hear and see and what we can find back here in Menantico. That song, Cedar Water Blues, that we played at the beginning of the episode, was the first song I wrote about the Pine Barrens. I wrote that in about 1984. I was living in a little apartment in Audubon and was messing with some different tunings on the guitar. Instead of just A440, I tuned it down to D. You know, usually your guitar's tuned in E. Well, I tuned the guitar down to D, and I found it much more comfortable for my vocals and much more conducive of, it's not really blues that I do, it's kind of like a blues Americana type of situation, and it was just much more easy for me to sing the songs and not have to strain my voice. You know, trying to play in a band with your guitar tuned different than everybody else is a pain in the neck, because a lot of times guys will look over to see where your, you know, where at on the fretboard your fingers are, so they know what chord you're playing. And to me, when I'm playing a G, it looks like I'm actually playing an F. So I have to tell everybody, you got to transpose down one step. And this is where I do a lot of my fishing. And this is where a lot of people claim to see and hear stuff. That's really deep in there. And it's just really crazy if you look at this, how it's laid out. Because it looks like somebody just came through here with a giant spoon and dug out wherever the hell they felt like digging out. And I'd like to get up there by them railroad tracks we just passed. I would assume that those railroad tracks were laid in there so that they could take the sand out and get it on. This is like a spur of these railroad tracks in here, and it would go onto the main railroad, and they could ship it up to Philadelphia and then out to, you know, points unknown, wherever they were sending the sand, or they truck it out of here. But there's a whole bunch of railroad tracks right over there, and it looks like they've been either maintained or are being used still, but I don't know that that's, I don't think they are. There you go. That's Menantico Ponds. Oh, he's fishing. That's what that guy's doing. It's been warm all winter. We really haven't had a winter this year. This is the first time I can remember there was zero snowfall. None. I mean, I don't even think it flurried. So the water is probably really warm, and the spring fishing ought to be tremendous. They're going to start stocking it soon with trout. That I don't go for too much because I don't like crowds when I'm fishing. But every once in a while you can sneak back to Oak Pond or whatever and get a good fishing spot. Yeah, these tracks look like they've been maintained and look like they're still being used. And railroad tracks aren't just for people. I mean, a lot of animals and different creatures, as it were, can follow the railroad tracks because they know that they're going to take them to, you know, maybe food sources, dumps. You gotta think like a critter sometimes to figure out what they're going to do and where they're going to go and how you might get to see one. And I don't think I can get over there to cross them tracks. It looks like, man, that they've just really done a lot of work because I see a lot of railroad ties. No, it's not. Well, let's see what we can do here. I don't want to get stuck, and my little car ain't gonna. Whoa. See, you can actually hear when you're in sugar sand and I'm in it. Those tracks look new, man. It looks like, yeah, that looks like they're laying tracks, so I don't know if they have a project. I hope this doesn't mean that something's getting ready to be developed back here. But those look like new tracks. The old ties are there, laying there. And who knows? I haven't heard anything, but even over there you can see, if you look real close, them new tracks. So we'll have to keep our ears open and find out what they got planned for Menantico Ponds area. I haven't heard anything, but that doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean that they're not planning to build something big, or they may come back here and start digging sand again, because there sure is plenty of sand for them to dig. The last time I came back here, I saw a deer run across the road. It scared me to death because it looked like the deer was sick. It was moving real lethargically, and I looked and I wondered if it was wounded or shot. I didn't see any marks or blood on it, but it was just really crazy the way it just happened to appear and, you know, lazily hang loose. Well, it's just like when you're fishing. If you're there when they're there, you're going to see them. You're going to catch them. And sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you. So why in the God's name people just sit back here? It makes you wonder. It really does. I guess they just want to be by themselves and checking out some nature, but why would you sit there with your windows up? If you're going to check out nature, I'd have my windows down, be sitting in the back of that truck. But I guess he's grooving on his groove, right? Everybody does their own thing. But that song kicked off I guess a career, you could call it, in doing Pine Barren stuff. And I've always been interested in, you know, the legends, you know, the Jersey Devil legend. Mother leads and her 13 kids. Well, she had 12, and when she found out she was pregnant for the 13th time, as the legend goes, she said, "Damn, may this kid be a devil." Which I would have said it a little different. I wouldn't have wished it to be a devil. I'd have probably cursed at his father and called it all kinds of names that I'm not going to use on the YouTube channel, because I know kids tune in. But yeah, I guess, you know, if you had 12 kids and here comes the 13th, I would have said some colorful things. But as the legend goes, she had the kid, and one of the legends says as soon as she had it, it turned into the Jersey Devil. Flew around and killed everybody in the place. I guess that must include its 12 brothers and sisters. the midwife that helped, and its mother. And then the other story is that it flew out the chimney, or it stayed human for a while, then it turned into the Jersey Devil, flew up the chimney, out into the night. Here comes somebody with a boat, and stood on the lamppost screaming at people. That'd be a pretty good fishing trip back there. I don't know if you can get to all these different lakes, if they're all connected. I guess probably they are, and I'm not even sure if you can get to the Morris River through the ponds. But I guess he's going to try. That's a nice rig. And just because there's people back here doesn't mean you're not liable to see something come running out of here. I mean, this is one of these places that people come back and I think somebody went missing back here. Last year or the year before, they came back here fishing and nobody ever heard from them again. So you have to wonder, ooh, yeah, that sounded like a whoop. Huh. And then, yeah, there it was again. It's very quiet back here. Probably hearing a lot of the hum of my string bean can muffler that my son had to put on to keep the tailpipe onto the catalytic converter after I hit a puddle driving so fast it blew the pipe apart. But it's really very quiet back here. For a state that has 39,000 people per square mile in a lot of spots, it can be very, very, very eerily quiet in the Pine Barrens. That's pretty quiet. The camera didn't stop. That's what it sounds like. 1:30 in the afternoon. And there ain't nothing. There is no sound. What would you do if you saw a face in that mirror, right? Huh. Well, it's a dead of winter. You're not really going to hear too much of nothing back here. I like it because I can take my imagination and go where I want, knowing that this is what people saw when they first got here in the 1600s. The Swedes landed not very far from here, and with all these waterways around here, this is exactly what they found. Of course, there were some Indians to deal with, but this is what it looked like. The only difference is we're seeing it in color and on video, not a picture drawn in some book. This is what it looked like, minus, of course, that paved road. But this is a very, very old area. I think 1620 is when the Swedes first got in here to South Jersey. So, let's start her back up. And let's listen to that song again. It features Jimmy Heffernan on the dobro. Does a great job. And this is Cedar Water Blues.
That old wading river run down through the pines, cutting through West Point divine. Red cedar waters caress boating field as she winds her way to the bay. I touch her and feel. She's just like a woman, so fragile yet strong. She might bend a little, but keeps moving on. Sometimes she gives life, sometimes takes it away. She'll laugh as she buries what she killed somewhere in the bay. Keep flowing, my red lady. Please don't become damned. Take me on downstream. Come take my hand. Wash me on home, girl. Make me one with your blood. If I choose to drown, just take me down. Make me one with your flood. Cedar Water Blues. Cedar Water Blues. Cedar Water Blues. Cedar Water Blues.
Cedar Water Blues. That's one thing though, when you're near Cedar Water and you're out here in these woods, you don't get the blues. I get the blues if I come out here and get rid of them. So, like the Pine Barrens, I guess the song is a paradox. But this is one of them places, man, that you never feel quite at ease. You know, there's different mojos and feelings you get in different parts of the Pine Barrens, and I don't know what the feeling is, but it always seems that this is a little, I don't know, like not sad, but something ain't right. But we shall leave it for another trip to find out what that might be. On February the 9th, it seems like everything is fine and dandy and no big deal. But this is Menantico Ponds area in Cumberland County, New Jersey, South Jersey. And if you're ever around, take a ride through. Check it out. All right, I will see you on the next episode of the Jersey Devil Hunter. And thanks for riding with me. Have a good one.